Hey, this is Carrie from Wrap Your Head Around Silks. This is the Expecting Aerialist podcast, now with the Digitint family of podcasts. How's it going, guys? Thank you so much for being with me today. Before we get started in the show notes, lots of stuff going on at Wrap Your Head Around Silks. Roll It Out class are 2 times a week, 60-minute virtual hour where we get to actually roll our bodies. It is so instrumental in maintaining, and it just helps to have people to do with and have an hour of carved out time. All you need is a foam roller and a ball. A peanut is great too. Hope to see you there. Sign up in the show notes. Also have stuff cooking in the kitchen, meaning the aerial kitchen. I'll announce that when I can. All right, today we have Lena Fumi. She's actually a colleague of mine, but she started her circus journey after having another career. She was a dancer when she was younger, but she picked it back up when she was 30 and has since become a contortionist aerialist. And her contortion practice is just incredible because her body is doing things that is just like incredible to have that type of growth in flexibility at her age, and she looks, oh my God, her bendiness. I always say that she should be my stunt double in videos because her back is amazing. But she tells the story of her journey in this, and she also works at the Loft with me, Womack and Bowman, the Loft here in Los Angeles. All right, my friends, let's get started. Lena Fumi, and I say your name the way I like saying it. I don't even know if I'm ever saying it right.
It's Lena. It's like Elena without the E.
Lena.
My mom.
Lena Fumi.
Lena.
So, obviously this is Expecting Aerialist. Lena is not a mom, but I asked her to come on because I've known her since she started her circus journey. And it's an incredible story. Yeah. So, Lena, could you please introduce yourself, where you're from, just a little bit about yourself, and then we'll dive into how all this started.
Sure. I am from LA, born and raised in the Valley, and also, but then I lived in Hollywood and North Hollywood, and all over. But anyway, LA native. Yeah, I am a professional contortionist. I'm an aerialist, although I do more contortion now, or I'll do like contortion aerial.
Bring us back to what year was it when you were still working your regular job, your 9 to 5?
I trained in ballet when I was a kid until I was like 14. And then 14, 15, I kind of had a little breakdown, needed some space to be a kid, and also other just things happened. And so I stopped dancing, and then I kind of spiraled out of control. I was a pretty crazy teenager. Moved out of my house out of my parents' house to Hollywood when I was a teenager. Anyway, stuff happened. I moved back in my mid-20s, and I was like, okay, I need to get myself together, get a regular job, and try to get on track with doing actual life things and not, spiraling out of control or, because I made it that far, and that was pretty great task that I actually made it through some parts of those times of my life. But then, and then I started working in offices, and then I started working my way up. My dad is an engineer, and then I worked my way up into kind of a network engineering support group. So I worked in an engineering department of a big cable and content delivery company. And then when I was about 32, I started taking pole classes for fun because I wanted to I'd always exercise when I was, healthy. And so I wanted to do something more fun and something to bring dance in. So I started doing pole, which was really difficult because my arms were like noodles, dancer, long legs, arms, didn't do anything. but I really pushed myself. Like I was working a graveyard shift and I was so determined. I got so into it that I would like work my graveyard shift, drive to the pole class and sleep in my car so I could make the noon class. And then after taking the noon class, I would go home and sleep because I had to take that, I had to get to class. And then I started like doing little showcases, studio showcases, but actually turned into was like a big pole show. And I started doing that. And then when I was 36, so 4 years into pole, I started putting myself, I wanted to make myself better. So I put myself in competitions, like the PSO competitions, pole sport or competitions. And I did that a few times. And it was really good because it pushed me to like create an act, and I did really well. The last one didn't go so well because I pushed myself too hard, and I wasn't really like, I had lost my focus on the artistic aspect of what I was doing because I was trying to do these really hard tricks. And then, it was a little rough for me on that last one that I did. But at the same time, I started picking up aerial. So I went to an aerial studio. I went to Air Form Arts where it was like real low for their first location, which I loved. I loved the people there. I loved the owners, and but the ceilings were like really low, so we could it was a pole and aerial studio. And I loved my teachers. At the same time, one of my friends from pole, Lily, she started working with this flexibility coach, Christina from Fit and Bendy. And so I kind of followed her into a class one day. She had told me about the class. So I went in there and I met Christina, my first contortion coach. And like things just kind of at around the same time with Aerial, I was doing a pole show and I was able, the woman, Kelly, who produced the pole show, let me do my first like aerial hammock atmosphere, like in the beginning of the show. And I was so excited because I had never done aerial. I'd only done pole in the shows. And on that show, my bosses now from the aerial studio, Rachel and Brett, Womack and Bowman, were...
So you were 36 at the time that this was happening?
36 when I started. Anyway, it's a long story.
Yeah, no, that's why it's incredible, because you didn't have an early start with this.
Yeah. And so I was assigned to be like their kitten to help them. I mean, they didn't really need my help, but they told me that they were opening up an aerial studio. So I was like, I had it on my calendar for like 6 weeks ahead. I couldn't wait. Like I was just waiting for this one moment. At the same time, a lot of this is like timing. At the same time, I found out that my department was moving to Austin. It was moving away. And so they offered me a job, and I was like, in Austin. I was like, no, I don't want to move. Then they offered me a really great position as a network engineer, but in Orange County. And, it was like a long drive. And I was like, nope, I'm just going to take my severance and I'm going to train circus. So yeah, at that time, then I got really into aerial and started really working with my coach, Christina Nikaya. And that's when my life just completely changed. Like I was so ready. I was so focused, and felt like I had like such great support with my coaches. And then I started, as things went, I started teaching, started booking gigs. I did my first contortion solo act on a big stage for Dreamworld Cirque when I was 40 years old. I had done some atmosphere stuff before that, but my first actual like solo stage act of contortion was when I was 40. And I'm 46.
Yeah, we're like very, very, like our birthdays are very close together.
Yeah,
We're
yeah,
77 babies. Lena,
yeah.
was that scary leaving your job?
It was, but it wasn't. Like it was scary because the benefits were, it was a corporate job. And I'd actually worked my way into a supervisor job, so I was like in management too at that time. Like I always try to, I always try to work hard. Whatever I'm doing, but I'm going to work hard at it. I think back to it when they offered me that engineering job, and a big bonus too, and just something in me was like, no, I didn't even think twice. I was like, nah, I'm not, you know. I was grateful for the opportunity. And it's not like I just couldn't sit in behind a computer anymore, for it was just like sitting behind a computer, meetings. I'm more of a troubleshooter, so I like to be like hands-on. And although it was a great company to work for, at the time, they were fantastic. I just knew where I needed to be happy. And so I went into circus.
Yeah, I feel like it's a lot bigger of a risk to start something
Mm-hmm.
like this if you're
Yeah.
giving up something. Like for me, it wasn't as big of a decision because I was slowly retiring from dance. I wasn't turning down paychecks. I wasn't turning down healthcare, you know?
Yeah.
So it's from a different mindset. You're taking a
Yeah.
bigger risk in a way.
Yeah, I had a nice salary and lots of benefits, but yeah, it was definitely a leap. It was definitely a leap, and I know like my dad, my parents were concerned, of course. like I don't know about this, but it's funny because now they're really like proud and happy that I'm doing what I love to do, and I wouldn't be this happy for sure if I had stayed in that job. And luckily, everything has just come together, and I'm incredibly happy, incredibly lucky to work with, the companies that I get to work with now. They're just fantastic. So yeah.
Yeah, I want to talk about the contortion stuff. So, leaving a job when you're, in your late 30s into 40s, that's one thing. But
Yeah.
for me, was watching your contortion transformation because this bitch, like, your contortion technique is incredible. Like, there's a lot of people who are flexible, but you've done it right. When I asked Lena, "Are you in pain ever?" she says, "No," and she means it. Can we talk about your flexibility, your contortion journey, like
Yeah.
that body stuff? Because
Yeah.
I like my body as I get older does not get more pliable. I just get more injured with all of my knowledge and all the people around me who know what they're doing. I have access to you. I could ask you all the questions in the world. It's not that I don't have access to all this knowledge, but my body just is not going that direction. And somehow your body did, and then not only that, you knew it would, I think, if you worked at it in a certain way.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think I knew it would. I was just like, I'm just going to keep doing this and seeing how it feels and see what happens. Yeah. So when I first started, honestly, my back was super. I was just talking to Christina, my coach, because I sent her. She's revamping her website, and I sent her some of the pictures, like my first chest stand ever. And my back was a straight line, like it did not bend at all. It looked like I was more flexible because my hips were flexible. Because like in my 30s, my early 30s, I got my splits back. Like I started working on my splits again and got my splits back. And then I started working on over splits and pull classes and stuff. So my hips were pretty flexible, but my back did not budge. And it was hard going to class. I had some times where I was like crying in the corner because, I was in class with all these people that had, just beautiful flexibility, like back flexibility already. And it was just such a struggle for me. But I really took to Christina's methods of, a lot of it is just like preventative PT, all the like waking up small muscles in your getting your stabilizer muscles to really activate. And yeah, there were times where I really pushed myself and was like up to the edge. There was one time where I did have an injury, but I worked through that. And since then, I've been like feeling great ever since. And I don't know, as you train, what you need changes, what your body needs changes. So at first it was just really slow. The first couple of years were super slow. But then when I started to make more progress, the progress kind of happens exponentially or with me, it did, to a certain degree. So I was able to pick up skills a little bit faster as I went. And now I'm able to actually like warm up faster, even though especially now, like I take my time warming up. I have to have a good warm up. When I get to shows, I always have to warm up. Like I'll start warming up like an hour early, that's just me. But I'm constantly, depending on what it is. Sometimes I'll warm up like fully warm up on the first set. But again, it just depends on what it is. If I have to do like a stage act, I will get there early. I'm always early to gigs to warm up. Yeah. And that's just like, as I get older, that's kind of the one thing that I have to do. But I feel great. I've gotten to know my body very well.
Lena, with your back, like how, like you're talking about, like it was like stiff as a board.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Like, tell me about like how many classes it took to feel like it was starting to open up.
Oh God, it was a couple of years until it started to actually like open up. Yeah, I remember going into my first class and I was 36 and I tried my first chest stand. And I was just like, I could hold it there because, and my hips would kind of hang on because I was real strong from pole. But like, my back, if you look at the picture, my back is not bending very much. And I asked Christina, I said, I'm 36. My back's never been flexible. Do you think I could ever like be in my chest stand and like touch my toes to the floor? Like, do you think that could ever happen? And she was like, like what I tell my students now, it's not, it just depends. There's so many different factors involved in that, like how much you train, how much you want it, how, working with your body and how it responds. Yeah. And so I was like, okay, well, I'm just gonna keep going, just keep doing the work and then see what happens from there. And then I remember the first time my feet touched down, I was like, oh, even just seeing my feet for the first time, it was so surreal. And then I was like, I want this. I really, really want this. And I just kept going.
Lena, how much do you train? Your contortion?
Well, I was training a lot. It ebbs and flows. Right now I fully train like maybe 3 or 4 times a week, like heavy training. And then the other days, I always take, at least a day or two of rest, but also like, I have a life now outside of training and,
Yeah, there was a time that's all you were doing, I remember, and you were just so focused.
During the even before the lockdown, I was so focused. That's all I wanted to do because I had like these specific goals and that was like, I wanted to get them. Even when I started performing, well, it's like, I need to, I'm always pushing myself to be a better performer in different ways, whether it's skills or the artistic side of it. That's, I'm always trying to push those 2 things. But during the lockdown, during COVID, I started working with my coach, Searchma, because she was doing online classes in San Francisco, and I was taking 2-hour classes with her like a few times a week, and I was so focused. I was really focused during that time. And then, yeah, I was like, I almost got my one arm handstands too. I got to get back to training those more diligently, because those take years. But I was pretty close. But yeah, and then things opened up. I started performing again. Yeah, so grateful for the companies that I work for now.
Yeah, and Lena works a lot. Lena works a lot more than any aerialist I know, because contortion, it allows you to, do gigs without rigging, which
Without
is like,
rigging.
yeah.
Yeah. So I have like a couple of contortion tables. Yeah, and I have a lollipop and this stuff, but yeah, and I'm just super lucky for some of the companies that I work for, like Unifier. They just, I love my job. I love my work, and I love the people that I work for. So
No, and then also you're also the studio manager of the Loft in LA. She is my manager.
And I love that job too, because I connect with all the aerialists, and we're really nice and like busy. And now as well, my aerial training has gone by the wayside a bit, so I need to keep that up. But contortion's always been like my main focus,
Yeah.
Since I started it. But then I supplement that with my aerial, or into my aerial work. Um, but but yeah, I love doing both. I love doing aerial contortion as well. Yeah, so that takes a lot of time. There's a lot of activity on site, and then behind the scenes with the studio, which I love. And then I'm also like very much in love. So my I have that side of my life now where my boyfriend and I are always trying to like do stuff, and just we enjoy each other's time a lot. So so I don't train quite as hard where I'm like constantly always focused on it, but I always get my time. And I actually joined like a regular gym because I was training in my room. I was really good at training on my own, but now it's like if I'm training in my workout room, I get distracted. There's phone stuff, there's all kinds of stuff. So I got myself like a regular gym membership a few months ago to go to the gym and do. So this is my new thing is and I used to do cardio like, when I was a lot younger, but I haven't really. I'll go ride my bike or something beforehand if weather allows. But I go to the gym now, and I'll go on the elliptical trainer for like 30 or like 30, sometimes 45 minutes. And then I go in the corner of my little gym and I do contortion. And I'm so focused because my phone is away and like everybody is there to work out, so I'm able to really train all of my like hard stuff, do all my handstands, become like the weirdo in the gym in the corner.
I feel like the gyms in LA are just full of people like us. Because as a dancer, I used to go and like when the cardio room's not being used, like just go in there and do like my turns across the floor. Yeah. So like the 24-hour fitnesses in LA are full of people like us.
But most people like are kind of stretching on on one side, and I go over to where people are doing the ropes and stuff, and because I'm doing handstands and things like that, and like chest stand push-ups, like. But it's got like some people will talk to me, really like whoa, But yeah, it's really cool. I love it though because it's also like 5 minutes away. So I'm like, I'm gonna get my workout in, and sometimes I'll get so into it, and if I have the time, I'll stay there for like 2.5, 3 hours. No, not all the time. Once in a while, but usually at least like an hour and a half, 2 hours.
Okay, I know. This is why I edit a lot.
Mom, I want you only.
You want me only? You don't want Lena? Oh.
She's like, get this girl off the screen.
A lot of the students that see you,
Mhm.
I don't think they know your story because
Mhm.
it's such an inspiration, Lena. Like I'm very
Yeah.
inspired by your story. And
Thank
that
you.
also we're friends as well as colleagues. And I'm just proud of you because you are
Thank you.
now, I mean, I've known you for however many years it's been,
Yeah. Cool.
since you were what, 40 or maybe 37
Yeah.
or the beginning of that.
Yeah.
And
Right.
like another level of that is that I think from what I can tell, your life is as balanced as it has ever been now.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah, which is
Yeah.
wonderful to
Now
see.
is like now I feel like is my prime. You know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, yeah.
I am, and I feel like I have so much more. I'm doing like burlesque shows. I do fire now, and like, now I'm like, I'm comfortable in my skills, but I'm always like experimenting with new stuff and adding that into my contortion. And so that is so fun for me. So I do, so now I can like, I do burlesque shows a lot for fun, but also so I can integrate other things and do a little more like risque stuff and pick like, I like obscure songs that I can do. So yeah, it's just like I feel like it's great because now I have like the freedom to like play a little bit more and bring more stuff in, and you always have to be kind of inventive and moving along. And I feel like I have so much more time, and my body's just is still progressing with contortion. Like I feel like I'm still getting my needle scales getting better and easier. And that's the thing too. It's not so much like, am I getting deeper into this? It's like the way I think of it is like, is this getting easier for me to do, to get, you know what I mean? It's not such a struggle all the time. And that's where I feel like the progress is made. Um, yeah. And then getting deeper into things just kind of comes along with that.
Yeah, when I see Lena work, it's from especially from a teacher's eye because a lot of my students who are flexible and hypermobile, they like dump
Mhm.
into their flexibility and they're not meeting it with strength.
Right.
And
Right.
this is Christina Nakaya's technique as well, but yours now. It's a very healthy contortion. And it takes a lot more time, I think.
Yeah, and the thing is, so I'm very glad I started with Christina as my base of like learning how to work with my body. Because every body is so different. Everybody has different needs, strength wise, flexibility wise. So for me, I have to really, it's always balance out like my passive and active, flexibility as much as I can. And I do also need, I need both. I need passive stretching techniques and a lot of active techniques, especially for, now, after working with Christina, for many years, I started working with her coach and more Mongolian coaches. So Sturchma, Ghana, and with Mongolian, I love Mongolian style contortion because it's so controlled and it's so strength based. You know, um, I'm glad I started with Christina for my fundamentals, but now I feel ready to like work on more, more advanced stuff and reach more high level goals with Mongolian style contortion. But yeah, I love it. And it's so beautiful to watch too. I love watching contortion. My body was a little bit, I came in with a lot of strength because I was doing aerial and pole. So I had to work more on the flexibility part, but definitely with hypermobile students, it's working on the strength and the stabilization for sure to prevent getting injured.
Now she's hiding from you.
She's like, I don't want to see you. I'm just gonna pretend you're not here.
Thank you so much for coming on.
Yeah, thank you.
Lena, I love working with you. I love that we're a part of the same community. I love watching your practice thrive. I've hired you once or twice, and that's wonderful for me. So, yeah, for any people out there who don't think becoming a contortionist is possible, when you're an adult, just check her out on Instagram and stuff. She's incredible. All right, my friends, if you would honor me with a 5-star rating and a review. Hold on 1 second, Bean. What do you need? Do you need Mama?
My is Kelly gonna come?
No, this isn't Greener Grass. This is Expecting Aerialist. But do you want to say hi to the listeners?
I'm watching YouTube because
You're watching YouTube? Yeah, it's awesome.
yeah.
Oh, I like it. Can I finish this really quick?
Well, I just want to stand on.
You want to stand right here? Okay, no problem. You want to sit with me? Okay. Hi, you want to give Mama a kiss?
Nipple.
Oh, she's so funny. All right, my friends, I think I'm just going to keep this in because she just screamed nipple into the microphone. I mean, what better way to end this podcast? All right, my friends, check out Digitum Podcast. Check out Greener Grass. It's all there for you. All right, my friends, over and out. This is Carrie. This is the Expecting Aerialist with Digitum Podcast. Say bye. Can you say bye?
Bye.
Bye.